didn't get too much sleep last night. Why? Because this weekend I'm supposed to go and meet my future in-laws in TAY NINH. Yes, we will be driving about 3 hours to the woman's hometown, so I have to tidy myself up and look presentable as I meet her parents.
You are my baby. You are my lady. There's no false at the day.
After I got ready this early morning, I walked over to my auntie's house where we all agreed to meet so we can pack into the minivan for the small trip. And we are off for about 3 hours of countryside boredom. Well, not as boring as, say, driving through Wisconsin or Iowa. As we were driving, I couldn't help but curiously notice a photo on the driver's windshield of what could be, is that Joseph Stalin?
There's still the bite.
About halfway through the trip, we actually did stop by for some breakfast. Perfect, because I hadn't had any food this morning at all. And while most of my aunts and uncles had pho of some sort, I opted for something far simpler in the form of French bread, beef, eggs, and pâté. And it's back on the road for another hour and a half.
I could have loved while I could be a man.
As we get into the province, we notice the big mountain that is kind of famous around here. And we're finally here in her neighborhood. We have to do a quick U-turn to get to her exact house. Unfortunately, I wasn't able to record that moment, as it would not be polite for me to whip out a camera upon first meeting the parents. After formal introductions, what do? Well, as most Vietnamese do, we force feed each other with food.
Sweet love, sweet love.
And what do I do when I'm in a situation where I'm seated next to a lot of people I don't know? I load up on booze. And I feast on fresh exotic treats like octopus. Well, just had lunch and took a shower with the future in-laws. And my relatives have taken off. I'm staying overnight. And I'm going to rest a little bit. This is the afternoon nap in the woman's room. And then later we're going to walk around. I have to admit, it is kind of a trip to have to take a nap after lunch in a foreign house in a room by myself after all of my relatives have left. Later in the evening, after I woke up, the woman's family and I were getting ready to go to dinner. Outside, I could hear one of the across-the-street vendors selling pillows and advertising through a speaker. I couldn't help but notice the hilarious "bang wow wow" in the recordings.
Áo gối 15.000 đồng một kéo gối, bèo béo bèo. Bữa nay đẹp quá, dễ thương quá, có 70.000 tấm ra cô Đông Hàn Quốc cái, 70.000 cái, bèo béo bèo. Bữa nay đẹp quá, dễ thương quá.
The woman drove me to meet the rest of the family at this fancy seafood restaurant. I personally loaded up on a bunch of oysters myself. Cost of the entire meal for the entire family? About $25. After dinner, the woman and I decided to take a ride to the brand newly opened supermarket here in TAY NINH called Coop Mart. Think of Coop Mart in Vietnam as kind of like a Walmart. It has a little bit of everything, except it's a little bit smaller. And since it's the holiday season, Coop Mart is also the home of possibly the saddest looking Christmas tree I have ever seen in my life. So let's go inside and take a peek to see what's going on. I kind of get the feeling that this might be the only hangout area slash mall for the youngins around here in this neighborhood.
I used to go to the better part of town, walk down the streets, beg with gold. I don't do it anymore. I don't do it anymore, no, no. Better part of town, better part of town.
I saw a hilarious fragrance that infringed on two American properties, X-Men and Hugo Boss.
I hear the birds, they don't need a thing. I see the stars, they...
Well, I just got back from eating shellfish dinner with the future in-laws. Just got back, and I guess we're gonna eat some more, so force feeding tradition continues everywhere. The woman's brother prepared a special dish of snails, and who was I to turn it down? And with a full stomach and me slipping into a food coma, I think it's time to turn in for the night, once again alone in the woman's room. I wonder how tomorrow will go.